I really love this topic that Dee Dee brought to the table today. Are you running away from something or are you running to something? She does a great job of plugging it into our marriage, our jobs, and relationships in our lives. You're going to really like this one.
Okay, so this topic today is one that I think is going to hit in many stages of life. And it's something that I was thinking about this week a lot. I think I obviously had this thought in the past because I will put topics into my phone, like podcast topics, but I was thinking about it more this week. And it is the idea of running away from something versus running to something.
Okay.
So often I think we will run away from something in a direction, but it's what we're running to is not what we're running after. It's just that we're running away from a relationship, a career, a situation, internal struggle, an addiction. Like we're running away from that and we end up in a place instead of intentionally running to a destination. Does this make sense?
Yeah, I got you. So
okay.
If your thought is, for example, if you are stuck in let's say a job, let's go with a job.
Yeah.
And so you're in a job and you're really unhappy with the job and you think, I need to get away from this.
Right.
So therefore, if your mindset is, I don't care where I end up as long as it's not here, instead of if you had a mindset of where I'm going here because I don't want to be here anymore, and you're focused on the better destination.
Yes.
And not the part that you're perceiving pain from.
Right.
That is two different ways of thinking.
Two totally different ways of thinking. You're still in motion, but with the one, when you're running away from whatever it is, you're not sure where you're going to end up, and it could be a not so great place. Instead of thinking, this is where I'm going. I'm running to this. And a job is a great one. You get into a job, it's zapping your health, it's taking your time away from your family. Maybe you have a terrible boss and they're just like beating you down and you're like, I quit. I'm leaving this job. But what are you going to do? Instead of saying, well, this is not where I want to be, and defining what you want, where you want to be, what you want to do. What are your gifts and talents? What are you driven to do? What are you passionate about? And then pursuing that and running after that, which is going to be fulfilling and a great move all around.
Well, one of my favorite sayings is, what you focus on, you will find. So in those two scenarios, you're either focusing on getting away from something and you're focusing on the negative. And when someone stays with the focus on the negative keeps showing up in their story. If your focus is on where you're going, the hope, the possibility, the excitement, the change, and if you focus on that, well, what you'll find falls into that mindset of hope and possibility. And even if things don't go exactly the way that you would want to write them to go, you still, if your mind is on hope and possibility, those hurdles just is one more thing to get over to get to that hope and possibility.
Yes.
Versus if you're back in what you're trying to get away from, then all those hurdles that come along the way, because let's face it, like there's always hard things along the way, but that's just, it's another thing that takes you back to the place that you were trying to run from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we do it with relationships too. You can, you see so many people who run after somebody else. They're in a committed relationship and then they pursue another person. It's not really what they're running after as much as I believe what they're running away from.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can start to acknowledge, am I running after this or am I running away from this? Then it's going to change. I hope it's going to lessen the number of the bad decisions we make in our life just because I'm running away from a situation or running away from something instead of being very aware where that's going to end us, where we're going to end up with that.
It really is just two different mindsets. Mm-hmm. Because let's even think of take it from a simpler, let's say you're a mom of littles and being home is exhausting. Mm-hmm. And so if you look at taking a night for yourself with the focus of running away from the children.
Yes.
Majority of the time, you still stay in that overwhelmed state in your night away that you experienced in that house with those children. Because the focus is running away from the children and you just stay there. Or, women go out and drink too much and put themselves, again, what you're saying is in a scenario of a place you don't want to be because you ran away from something.
Yeah.
Or because I got exhausted with littles and I always enjoyed a night out, but being able to focus on having the opportunity to have some time with your husband or have time with your friends and focusing on the opportunity that you have just to enjoy that night. Mm-hmm. You don't stay in that place of overwhelm. You get to go out and it's a gift. You're going towards a goal or a gift. The goal is to have a night out with my husband. Mm-hmm. Then you're not running away from something. You're going towards this great night. That's something to look forward to. Yeah. And you have a totally different mindset, and which means you have a totally different evening because of it.
And if you do see that you're running away from something and you say, yeah, you know what? I was going out on all these mom's nights because I was running away from home. I was running away from the responsibilities and all the fatigue that comes with watching little kids all the time. When you identify, oh man, this is an escape route for me, then it gives you the opportunity to say, okay, why am I feeling that way and what can I do to change it? Because we don't ever want to feel like we're stuck in a situation that we have to run from. Mm-hmm. But if we don't identify that we're running away from something, then we're not going to change it, right? Like it's just, mom's night, I'm going out with my friends. And then that becomes more and more regular without us even realizing it.
Running away from things almost always puts us in another situation that is negative. I mean, I'm starting to think of all the different ways that we run away from things in our life. So that's sometimes when people end up binge eating, is when they're running away from something, or binge drinking when they're running away from something, or having an affair is because they're running away from something, or, most of the time that feeling of running away does not put you in a position of peace.
No.
It adds just a different chaos in your life.
Think about if you're running away from something. Something is chasing you.
A bear.
A bear, a dog, a person, whatever. If you're running away from something, you're constantly looking back and you don't care where you're going. You're just running. But if you're running to something, that's more enjoyable. That's a more enjoyable run. We both run. Mm-hmm. If we always ran because we were running, because somebody was chasing us, that would be terrible. We'd never want to do it.
No.
But when you have a goal, when you have a destination, that you're running for that's more enjoyable. Like, you can't get away from what you're running from either.
Yes. This is super interesting. I'm trying to think of, I'm going through and I'm seeing the comparison of consistent mindset changes of the running away versus going to. I even have coming down and thinking about, because we're in a place again that there's going to be, we've had the talk about kids leaving for college. Mm-hmm. And there's also a feeling of sometimes kids feel like they're running away from their situation versus the excitement of going to a situation, you know? And I don't know, do we set our kids up for that mindset also if we're always feeling like we need to run away from something?
I don't even know if we're setting our kids up for it or if it's just part of human nature that we can help our children identify. Mm-hmm. So one time my brother said, and this is not a reflection of his wife, he loves her very much. He said this before he met her. He said, I think people just give up and get married. Mm. It was his perspective in, I guess he was in college. And I was like, well, Stephen, that's a depressing thought. But as I've gotten older, I feel like I've seen that maybe play out a little bit more. People feel like this is the stage of life where I need to be getting married. I'm kind of lost. Like, I always had an intention in life. High school, your intention is given to you. College, graduate college, get a good job. You graduate college, you may or may not get a good job. You might get a mediocre job. But you find yourself in this life and you're like, this place in life, well, I think I was supposed to have been married by now. Mm-hmm. And now there's an opportunity for you to get married to this person. And so instead of running to that person, you're running away from singleness. Being afraid. Yes, singleness and fear of what if I never get married? Mm-hmm. And maybe some people listening to this have never gotten married and had those feelings of maybe I shouldn't, because it was what they felt like they were supposed to do, Yeah, making decisions on the run. I love that you even actually did the visual of a bear following us. Like that's not you. You're not making your best decisions when you're on the run. No. I think it happens to, like you brought up addictions. I think you did. You said with food. Mm-hmm. So if you're really stressed at work, people will say, I just need to go like get a fancy coffee or get a chocolate bar. I just need to go get a candy bar or some caffeine, or alcohol even. If you're feeling like I just need to go get that because what you're running away from is stressful, and that becomes a habit and it becomes habitual. Yeah, you're not even realizing I'm running away from this and using this as an escape. I'm running away from stress and uncertainty and using alcohol as an escape. I mean, we've even put really sweet words around these things. It's just the way that I treat myself.
Yes. Or one of the things that I hate these two words together, but so many people use it when they are trying to lose weight or trying to get healthier, and then they have a cheat meal is what they call it. Mm-hmm. But really that's an escape. And the cheat meals, the feeling around it is actually goes back to a negative feeling that you're feeling about
being deprived.
Yes. Yes. And so I hate the word cheat
negative
meal.
Mindset. And you're being sweet to say cheat meal. Most people say cheat day.
You're right.
And it's a free for all.
Yeah. But that is a result. It's that same thing. I mean, if you started thinking about all these different scenarios, they all look different. They all look the same in how we're running, and we run to something that is going to cause a little bit of a chaos.
Yeah.
Instead of being in a place of, I'm not satisfied here. Mm-hmm. So what's the goal? Mm-hmm. And then focusing on that goal moving forward.
Yeah. I was talking to somebody who was telling me about the relationship they were in, their first marriage. She was an overspender, and he really liked words of affirmation. Well, he was getting compliments from people because his physique had changed a lot, and he was starting to look at other people differently, and it made her feel insecure. So she started spending more and more money on clothes, on treatments, on all these things to feel more attractive. And it eventually led to their divorce because she spent so much money, and then she was hiding money, like hiding what she spent. And he was having conversations with other women that he should not have been having. And I was like, you were running away
Both of them
mm-hmm. from your insecurities and from your own addictions in different ways. Oh man. And just running, you ended up in a place you didn't want to be. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those couples, when you see them now, you'd be like, you would be so good together. You know what I mean? But because of that, like there's so much in between them now. They're both, one's remarried, one's engaged. But, I think how many times does it start with the little things that we just are running away from instead of running to each other or running to where we want to be in life, you know?
Yeah, running to something that feels like it has a purpose to it, mm-hmm. that is a positive purpose.
Yes.
And all the things actually that we talked about, for the most part, every scenario, you could be running to something that has a positive purpose. I mean, it doesn't,
yes.
if that was your focus.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were in a job that made you miserable, you could be running to something with a purpose.
Yes.
If your marriage is in turmoil, you could be running to something with a purpose. Mm-hmm. If you were you're doing a diet and trying to figure that out, you still could have a focus of running to something with a purpose, mm-hmm. you know, instead of running away from what you're doing.
In finances, mm-hmm. in your finances, it is easy to run away from your finances. You can just get another credit card. Mm-hmm. It's easy to run away from your spending habits. But when you say, no, this isn't the way I want to live, I want my finances to look this way, and you start making decisions that are aligned with that instead of running away from those financial pressures, which can lead you to doing some really compromising yourself and your values that when you start running away, especially from money situations. Mm-hmm. You can start making some underhanded deals at work. You can get into some bad things.
Or you just start hiding things. You start hiding things from your spouse. And mm-hmm. again, causing chaos.
Yes.
Underhanded deals at work, causing chaos mm-hmm. in your life. It's sin multiplied is what it really is.
Yeah.
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 No, I love it because, again, you could have two people going through the same exact thing, and depending on where their mindset is, their destinations look completely different.
Mm-hmm. And if somebody is in that overwhelmed, fearful state, and you start to try to have a conversation with them around, where are you wanting to go in this situation? What are your goals for this situation? They might not be able to have that conversation with you. And that's an indicator with us. If we were to say, okay, I don't like this situation and I want to change it, but where do I want to go? And we can't pinpoint where we want to be. We just know I'm getting out of here. Okay, if I can't have that conversation, it's not time to run yet. Mm. Until I know which way I'm heading, it's not time to run. Because I'm going to end up somewhere, and it may be way worse than where I am right now. So this is funny because I'm trying to think. So we did a podcast a while ago, and it was called, I don't know where I but I can't stay here.
I don't know where I'm going, but I can't stay here.
Yes.
Which I know had a totally different premise, but it's interesting that we're talking about this. And that's why that's why I love talking about these things with you, because we're able to really dive into different ways that we think.
I think it goes along with it. I don't know what's going on, but I can't stay here. So am I going to be intentional about which way I go? Or am I just going to run as fast as I can away from this situation and end up wherever?
Oh,
like,
so good. Yep.
You don't have to have it all planned out, right? Like, you don't have to say, career-wise, I don't like this career, and this is my dream job, and I will not leave this career until I have my dream job. No. But let's say you're in retail and you want to be in finance. I really want to have a career in finance. Well, you don't just up and quit your job the next time your boss is mean to you. That's what I'm saying. Does that make sense? Like, that's just running away from the situation. One, have you tried to address it with your boss? Have you talked to your coworkers if it's that type of an issue? But also defining where you would like to go. And then you make steps toward that direction. But I don't know where I'm going, but I can't stay here. I don't see those as two different issues. I see it as, I know I can't stay here and I'm going to go. You're not going to have it all figured out, but are you intentionally pursuing a place you want to be?
And a lot of times your brain, when you are the running away, you do stay there. Like, you're just taking it along with you. It's almost like your backpack on your back as you're running.
Yes.
Because you are consistently looking back there as your focus. And then it just comes along with you.
Because if you're running away from that, you keep looking back, like you said, at that thing. But I love that podcast. I don't know where we're going, but I can't stay here, because there have been so many times in life where we both had to take that next step of, okay, this is not working and I can't stay here. I'm going to open up the door to that conversation, and I don't know where it's going to go. I'm going to step out in faith and pursue this, and I don't know where it's going to go.
But even in that situation, the goal is for things to get better.
Yes.
It's not running away from the situation that we were in.
Yes.
So you're right, it all does play together.
I'm glad you brought that up, because it even makes it more powerful. Because when you start running, you're either running to something or you're running away from something or someone or a situation. So
good stuff, Dee Dee.
If you feel lost in life, or you have a big decision to make and you don't know which direction to go, contact us. This is what we do. We coach people and help give direction and purpose, help you to understand where you want to be in life, where you've been called to grow and to go. You can reach us at www.liveyourdesign.life.